When somebody asks me about how many stems, and if it's not on the website, I say, this is like asking a caterer how many slices of cucumber will be on a veggie tray. The answer is enough to make it look good.
Welcome to the Business and Pleasure of Flowers. We're your hosts, Vonda
and Lori Wilson, and we believe that business and fun are a perfect combination. Kind of like us, Vonda.
Okay, Lori, so it's been a heck of a day, let me tell you.
You guys are knee deep in a photo shoot right now, right?
Well, we just finished it up because the camera had to be back at 5 o'clock. So you know how we are, just like last minute. So we have 30 minutes to spare.
Oh my gosh. Did Ellie, you weren't in our meeting earlier with Ellie and Cammie and I, but we were talking about, because she was saying how you have so many flowers and you want to just take as many design pictures as you can and make good use of your time. And we were like, you need to create a ginormous arrangement, and it's just called Go Big or Go Home.
We did that. That's what I just finished, and it wasn't too bad to shoot. I was actually very surprised, but of course, then we had to do one for mix 1 and mix 2 because you couldn't just do one.
Right. Well, and I mean, especially going into Valentine's Day, everyone needs one of those on your website.
Yes, you need one on your website. We have something else on the website for Valentine's Day because this one's not going to quite cut it before Valentine's Day.
Right.
Mother's Day. And the next, it's big, beautiful, a mixture of bright flowers. Yeah, you'll be happy because as I was putting it together, I'm like, okay, remember, this is for Lori. It's got to be colorful. It's got to have a little bit of pink.
Go big or go home. Don't even.
There you go. There you go.
Good. Well, speaking of Valentine's Day, we are going to do a replay today, right?
Exactly. There was so much good information from last year's, and I was listening. I'm like, Lori, we can't do any better than this.
Yeah. And it's about words because we really don't think about that when you're on the phone with a customer. It's really important. The language you're using when you're describing something makes sense to them.
It does. It has to, because it might make sense to me or to you, as people will see, but oh gosh, others might just be left behind and not have a clue what you're talking about.
Right.
So let's just take a listen.
Okay. So what are we going to be talking about though today?
Well, what we thought would be really important is to talk about words that could confuse a customer and set you up for maybe a bad review or unhappy customer.
Yeah. And so when you, again, I don't know what day it was, but when you told me about this topic, I was like, that's a great idea. And then within a few days, one of our clickers posted in our members Facebook page a question that really falls right under this category.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? So anyway, we thought, well, we'll just wing it, right?
Well, it is an important subject. I mean, even the basic things like, I want to send a dozen long-stemmed red roses. Well, long-stemmed red roses now could be, we say 60 or 70 centimeter. A customer doesn't know what that is. And in their mind, is a long-stem rose 18 inches tall? Is it 12 inches tall? What is long to them?
I have no idea.
And what is long to you, the designer? So, and you're going to say it's in a big vase. Well, big vase to me is probably different than it is to you, and especially different than our customer. So we have to be careful of the words we select and pass on to a customer to make sure that we have clarity and set ourselves up for success in those discussions.
So I think we should do something here. Just because I am more customer based, I'm the buyer of the flowers and you are the designer of the flowers, right? You have some words that you're going to want to talk about. Maybe use one in a sentence if you can. And then I'm going to interpret to you what I'm visualizing. And we'll just see if this happens.
So I'm going to do one. Okay. I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, don't tell me. Okay, ready, go.
So as a designer, I like to describe things a little bit more in depth.
Yes, you do.
honestly, I know it's not the right thing to do, Miss Lori.
Well, but it's your, okay, listen, here's the thing. Here's why it is right. You are the designer. It's kind of expected of you. If I'm the customer and I'm talking to the designer in the store, it's expected.
Except for a lot of shops have somebody who's the designer and the salesperson. So most designers are on the phone. But if I were to answer the phone, I would say to you, this design is in a cube vase and it has roses, alstroemeria, hybrid lilies, waxflower, veronica, and some assorted foliage.
Okay. In my mind, a cube, okay, I know that's a box, right? Like a little square, which is fine. But you listed so many things. In my mind, I'm like, that's too much in a little cube because I can't visualize what you're saying. So I would prefer you share with me like the couple of stars of the show, the roses and something.
I know that because I figured you heard roses.
I heard roses.
Blah, 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 blah.
Right. I know you said alstroemeria, but I heard roses and I heard alstroemeria. So I didn't hear anything else.
Yeah. And that's what your customer's hearing. So that's why I know I have to dumb it down, so to speak.
Right.
And so I can do a beautiful variety of flowers, including roses, in a short glass square vase.
Yes.
That would be beautiful on a end table or the bedside table, because that, as we've talked about, you have to give them, what size is that vase? You know, what size is the cube? Is it a big cube? Is it a little cube?
Right. And even, you know, if you're ordering flowers, if it's customers ordering flowers for Valentine's Day that they're having sent to someone that works in a cubicle, right?
Yes.
Which is a big deal. Like, to me, doing that visual presentation in their mind is incredibly helpful for them to go, yeah, that would look good. Or then they could go, no, you know what? I kind of want something as tall as their computer. Like, what could we do there? And so you're going to have to start speaking that language, right? As far as comparisons.
Right. So what is it that one of our members posted on our Facebook group? Because that was so telling.
The timing was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. So she says, how do y'all, she's from Texas, so she says y'all. How do y'all handle the question of how tall and wide will that be? How many inches? How many stems does that include? And so on and so forth and so forth. And she put some laughing emojis. So I thought about that, and I was thinking of our personalities that we talk about, the who's calling, you know,
in the sales prep school that you go through that.
We've done podcasts on it. People can go back and find it. And I thought of those director styles, like, you know, that are asking every single thing. To me, what was so interesting is all of the comments from our other clickers saying how they handle that. The majority of them are like, I would never answer those. I try to be as vague as possible because you're setting yourself up to fail.
Right. But you could still, as the owner and manager and designer, can have an idea. You know, when you're doing tall vases of flowers, get out a measuring stick and say, I mean, on an average, they're, 18 to 24 inches. Okay. So at least you know, and maybe you post that on the wall during Valentine's Day when you have these customers that frustrate the heck out of you because they're slowing you down when they ask you questions. So maybe you say, our tall vases of flowers are 18 to 24 inches, and they're really, I can't tell you how many stems, they're just to value of the arrangement you decide.
Right.
And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful selection.
Right. And many of them are saying, well, if it's something on my website, that's fairly easy because I have a flower click recipe, right? I have a recipe, and you also have the dimensions for the majority of those. But I think it's important, so you don't set yourself up, is to say, on average, like you said, it should be 18 to 20 inches tall, depending on the flowers. Every flower is unique. So we want to keep it in its uniqueness, and more natural. So,
and if they are looking at your website, then it's a no-brainer. You can say, let's look at that. That one says on the description, it's approximately this width by this height.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Somebody else posted, of course, you know how all of these questions, they take on a life of their own and they start going down different rabbit holes. But again, they're all really good because every shop owner deals with this. Because the bottom line for those people that are asking, well, how many stems are, they're wanting to know, what am I getting for my money? You know, I want the best for my money. These are also the people, again, reading through these comments, that are open to complaining. Well, your prices are high, you know, and so somebody shared a story about that. The responses are, you are welcome to call another flower shop. I'm sorry, we're doing the best we can. And be nice. You don't attack them or anything, but just say, you know, costs are going up everywhere. And then they have the choice. But one of them said, sometimes they just want to verbalize it and just let it go.
Well, and I think coming back saying, you know, gosh, prices are up everywhere. I was at the grocery store and you've been to the grocery store lately and you understand everything is up. Yeah. But sometimes the guys, if they're ordering, they maybe haven't been to the grocery store.
Right. They haven't been. Well, yeah, exactly. You're exactly true. So one of our clickers commented on this. She said, I just played dumb and asked them, have you read the description that we spent time putting on our website?
That's the book that all floral designers or shop owners want to write, is What I Wish I Could Say.
Yes. That needs to go into our Say This, Not That program in our prep school. Maybe we have a whole new section of things that you wish you could say, but you know, don't say them. Somebody else commented and said, I give a rough description. That's the consensus. We have recipes. If someone's ordering bright and colorful, I can say it's going to be about 18 inches tall. It'll be a clear glass vase. Just the, you know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. And she said, if it's a recipe, I can just go down the recipe saying there's 3 daisies, 4 carnations, 2 Gerber, greenery, you know, it's what it is. But she said she hardly ever does that. She rarely gets asked how many stems.
Yeah, I would agree. I think most of the time. And what's interesting on the flip side of that, Lori, I find is as a shop owner or the manager at the shop, customers are calling you and saying, hey, Vonda, just fix something really nice for my wife. Your usual. They don't ask size. No. They don't ask color.
Right.
They don't ask price, because that trust has been established. And, you know, you're taking these at Valentine's Day, just like as the manager owner. And one thing that I'm going to suggest, that as a person in that seat of responsibility, you say, oh, thank you, Lori. I will pass this order over to Susie, and Susie's going to create this for you because she's done it before and she does a really great job.
Yeah.
Because now then that person who's trusting you will hear the name Susie repeatedly and go, this girl must be good because Vonda trusts her to do what she's doing. So it sets you up for succession for somebody else to be able to do what you normally do for them.
Yeah, that's true. One last comment on this one, then we'll move on to your words. So said, when somebody asks me about how many stems and if it's not on the website, I say, this is like asking a caterer how many slices of cucumber will be on a veggie tray. The answer is enough to make it look good.
That is super cute. I like that.
I do too. I think, but again, they have to trust you. If you're doing a designer's choice, if I'm purchasing a designer's choice, I'm going to have to trust the designer.
Right. And a lot of shops are putting almost exclusively designer's choice on their websites for the Valentine's Day week.
I'm talking as a customer. Don't shoot the messenger. I completely understand shops that have to do designer's choice only because I know the whole shipping and I just know all of the behind the scenes.
Right.
However, as a customer, when I get on your website and I just see those cute little banners, I need some visuals. I need a little more information. I need to know I can either have A, B, or C. Something like I want A, but you can have it in pink, white, yellow, or purple. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. No, totally. I totally understand that. If I'm going to look and only see designer's choice, I think I'm going to pick up the phone and call the shop and say, what is a designer's choice?
Yeah.
What is in that? I mean,
yeah, you got it. If you're only going to do designer's choice especially for holidays, you got to give them a little more information.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be my thing. Because you said you would pick up the phone and call. You have a whole lot more knowledge than I do about what you really want in a designer's choice. Mm-hmm. I'm still like, I don't even know what to ask for besides roses. So I would probably get off that website and go, I'm going to Google, are there any other shops around that area?
Yeah. So, and I think that's what happens. And I understand, especially on Valentine's Day, you know, might need to take everything down and go designer's choice only, because at that point, honestly, you probably don't care if you don't get that order.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You're
that day.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Just the day of. Yeah, that would make sense. But I still, even if you do designer's choice the day of, or say, you know, designer's choice, it can be in pink, red, or white. You choose, but that's all you get to choose.
Mm-hmm. Nope. Agreed. I think that's great.
Anyway,
Lori, I think we should just go back to big vase. I talked about that at the very beginning.
Yeah.
When I talk about a big vase, I would think they would want a big vase that would be like on an entry table or, you know, something grand when I think of big vase. Now, when some people think of a big vase, they maybe just think of an 8 or 10 inch vase instead of a 14-inch vase.
Well, when I think of a vase, I've got this big, tall thing by my fireplace vase that has like, I don't know what's in
like
it.
Like a pampas grass or
yes, yeah. Like that. I mean, that's a big vase.
Right. So, see?
Big means different to a lot of people. Again, why when you're saying that, we can do it in even a tall glass vase. Well, what's a tall glass? How tall?
Mm-hmm.
Again, visualizing where it's going to be, I think is just so important. Like on the buffet table or a tall one, I don't know, a foot and a half tall. I don't know, whatever it is, you've got to give them a little more information.
And I think you could start with, if you're looking for something to impress her, we have a tall glass vase. The vase is 12 inches tall and is lush and overflowing with a beautiful selection of flowers, including roses. And it really will impress her. And it's going to be around $249. How about that to start?
That's sparked a question in my head. I'm thinking the Valentine's Day, the day of.
Okay.
Most shops, are those people calling in to order? Or are these men or women running by trying to grab something?
Both. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of people who do call last minute. Monday morning, the phone will be ringing off.
Really? And so want it to be delivered that day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I was answering those phones, and I mean, again, working for my manager who believed the same thing I did, if they were those days, I would let them know, hey, you know what? The good news is we can do something for you today.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say bad news, but here's what we can do. Would your person like something, you know, that's going to be tall? I would give them 3 choices, basically. I would look
and
over
all of those things should already be done in your cooler.
Right.
Everything.
They don't need to know that.
Right. But you're right. Your person on the phone should say, the good news is I got 3 things.
The good news is you called, it got you in by the skin of your teeth. Here's what I can do. We've got 3 beautiful choices. I wouldn't even ask them, what would you like? Because at this point, they're going to need to like one of these things.
And would you suggest, as our sales training specialist, to say we have something that would be more compact that would go on her cubicle on her desk?
Yeah. I would
want something that's taller, more the height of her computer, or do you want something that's going to take over her whole desk?
Absolutely. I would even have a little script with these 3 choices to use Saturday, Sunday, Monday of Valentine's Day. I honestly would. I would keep it that simple. So your designers, unless if someone's calling Friday or
before
and they want a $400, well, heck yeah, we can do that too.
So heck yeah.
Yeah, heck yeah. But it's like they're either going to get this, right? Think of it as, I can remember when we were shopping for minivans way back in the day. And like we looked at the Toyota Sienna. So it was like you have choice A, B, C package. There was no customization. The Odyssey, you could sort of customize a little more. So think of this as Toyota days. I'm not giving a shout out to Toyota, but it's true. Like during these kind of holidays, you can have A, B, or C. If you want to customize it, then you're going to have to spend enough money to make it worth my designer's time.
But they don't know that you're not customizing it. They don't know that because description is general enough that they understand.
They don't have to know you're cranking these things out.
Right.
You know? So anyway, that's my little 2 cents from the customer.
And I think that's what it's all about is we've got to think of things from the customer's perspective and how when they're calling in, what they're hearing, not what we're saying, but how it's perceived.
Yep. You know, I'm going to say something, and it does have to do with Valentine's Day, but it also has to do with after Valentine's Day. I get amused when I hear some of our members, because we do their websites, and some of them say, "Ugh, remove that from I am so tired of making that. I hate that one." You know, and this is few and far between, but the other day I had someone commenting something similar to this. And I remember thinking, this is the story that popped up in my head. So I love salt and vinegar chips. You know,
yes,
I love them. Love them. So my whole family does. But one rainy day, I had a bag of them in here in my office working. And all of a sudden, the entire bag was gone. Full bag, not like a snack size, full bag. And the roof of my mouth was so raw. I could not get enough water in my system. I felt nauseous, sick. Like I never want to see one again for a very long time. But here's the deal. The rest of my family still loves them because they didn't abuse them the way I did. So I have to continue to buy them. It's kind of the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Like, is it weird that I connected those dots?
That was a little weird, I will have to say. Potato chips and flowers, but you know,
it's the same concept. Like my first thought is I am not buying those again. Well, I hate them. I don't even want to see them.
The one that the florists do over and over again, and I'm going to just do a shout out, is Beautiful and Blue in California. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yes.
But most of the designers I talk to say, give it to me. I can crank that out in my sleep. And, you know, as long as you price it correctly and you have that perceived value because of the Beautiful and Blue, but it has the right price point and you're making money on it. Heck, why not do it every day? You know?
Hey, I will tell you from a customer standpoint, I have sent Beautiful and Blue.
Yeah.
I have probably sent it a half a dozen times, not to a funeral home, but to the home of somebody that lost a loved one. I like it, but I don't have to make it 20 times a day.
It's an easy one to make. And I know all of our clickers out here are probably going, yep.
That's true. It's but you're right. You got to look at the customer perspective. And I understand getting sick of the chips, right?
Yep.
But you still have to buy them because I have to think of the others.
Think of the others and you always do, Lori.
I try.
Well, we're going to keep this short since everybody needs to get focused on Valentine's Day, but I really do think these tips will really help refocus you and really choose your words wisely.
Yes.
For Valentine's Day.
You guys got this.
You've got it.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We hope you enjoyed spending time with us because we enjoy spending time with you. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button or add the Business and Pleasure of Flowers to your Google morning routine or your flash briefing on Alexa. We look forward to seeing you next week.
So please come back and join us and discover how a bit of knowledge and one small change in your mindset can take you to new levels in your life and business.